Well, here I am. I'm up in Enfield this time, in front of the murder mill here in Enfield, standing for the rights, equal protection, equal justice under the law. Got my video camera there, keeping me safe. I mean, the Lord keeps me safe. But there it is back there, Planned Parenthood, right under the Chris Wilder State Farm sign. And it's not well, there's not a lot of traffic going now, but you could see there's a fair amount of traffic that goes on this road. So, you know, God calls us to be faithful, and it is His work to be successful. Our success is dependent upon Him, when and where and how He wants there to be success, but He calls us to be faithful in our in what we do. So I'm just going to be faithful. Call other Christians, particularly in Connecticut, to be faithful. You know, we don't have a ton of members of the Connecticut Foundation to abolish abortion, and I quite honestly don't understand why. Some people, Christians, just are not joining. And you know, there's Christians that are standing out in front of the clinics, and that's great. Save a baby, that's wonderful, but you know, we want to get this thing abolished, this wickedness, this evil. It must be abolished. And there's no other organization in the state of Connecticut, no other organization in the state of Connecticut that is dedicated to the abolition of child sacrifice in the state of Connecticut. So, and I'll make a plea to pro-lifers. There's a lot of pro-lifers that have not met abolitionism yet, and you talk to a lot of pro-lifers, and they're like, "Yeah, we agree. We believe that child sacrifice must be abolished in the state of Connecticut." You know, because abolition is not an option in the pro-life movement. It's not an option. And pro-lifers, well, I'm going to talk about this on my video. Pro-lifers, if you want to abolish abortion, if you're actually serious about your knowing that God hates child sacrifice, if you're serious about wanting this horrific abomination to end, then you need to get out of the pro-life movement. Contact me. I will give you all tons and tons of evidence that the pro-life movement is not about abolishing abortion. It's about regulating it. It's about incrementalism. There's too much at stake. I think in the upper levels, actually, I don't think in the lower ranks, but in the upper levels, I think that they have too much to risk. They have too much to risk, you know, millions and millions of dollars, jobs and popularity and all the rest of the stuff. But as you filter down into the rank and file of people, I think there are pro-lifers that would come over to abolitionism when they understand that the pro-life movement has abandoned the unborn babies, that they're not serious about ending this thing, that they really are all about regulating it. Well, they'll say, well, it's not going to be done. You know, they're not going to be abolitionists because it's not going to happen. Well, first of all, I disagree 100% with that. God is going to abolish it. It might be in my lifetime, it might be in 50 lifetimes, but He will end it because God is Lord and He will reign and conquer all. But our job is to work towards it. But you know something? I'll throw that right back at the pro-life. The pro-life movement has done nothing to curb child sacrifice in the United States of America. In fact, because of them, more and more children have been slaughtered and killed because they will not work towards abolishing this horrific sin. So, pro-lifers, if you are interested, message me. If you're interested, call me. If you're interested, email me. If you're interested, send me a message. Somehow, get a hold of me, and I'll talk with you. I'll talk you through it. Yeah. I'd love to get the leaders of different pro-life or pro-life friendly organizations on board, but they won't. I already talked to one gentleman. I met with him, Peter Wolfgang, and I said, hey Peter, why I want to make you an abolitionist? And you know, no, he doesn't. He's not interested in abolishing abortion. And he works with a lot of pro-life. So he does work to incrementalize child sacrifice so that it continues on and on. That's not why they incrementalize or why pro-lifers want to regulate it. They want to curb it as much as possible, but they don't see, they're blinded to the reality that as they allow for regulation and incrementalism, all it does is drag this thing on. We've already seen it. We've already seen it in the past. We saw it with slavery. The incrementalists kept slavery alive for a long, long, long time. It wasn't until the abolitionists came along. And you would think that, I would say that because of the work of the pro-life movement, that has made abolitionism easier. You know, they tilled the hard ground. Actually, the pro-life movement has actually made abolishing abortion that much more difficult, because they see that you know, people of faith are compromisers. They know that they'll compromise, and they know that they could keep this thing going because there's a lot of money in it. So if you are serious about finishing this thing, ending this thing, then join the Connecticut Foundation to abolish abortion, and let's work faithfully before God to get a abolition bill presented, find someone that will sponsor it, and let's put this forward and put this forward and put this forward and put this forward as many times as Wilberforce did that in Parliament in England, London, in Parliament, United Kingdom. Let's continue to do that here in the United States. So thank you for listening, anyone who's watching. This is Norman Patterson. I'm the head abolitionist of the Connecticut Foundation to Abolish Abortion. Yeah, there goes a beep and a finger, and it wasn't a thumbs up. Like that's going to discourage me. Oh dear, they flashed the bird. Oh, I'm so hurt. Not at all. Yeah, people are slowing down, looking. They're looking, see? See how they're slowing down? They're wondering what this guy's doing. So I'm going to continue on doing some abolition work. So God bless you. Good afternoon, my brothers and sisters of the Connecticut Foundation to Abolish Abortion. I'm in front of the murder mill up in Enfield. My goal this fall and this winter is to visit every murder mill that I can think of or that I know of, and make a stand for Jesus Christ and call for the end and abolishment of child sacrifice. So God bless you. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for all the work that you guys do. And may God continue to bless, our ministry. Abortion must be abolished. feel like I should move down because there's a telephone pole. So yeah, that was my plea. My plea on Facebook was to call pro-lifers to abolitionism. And, well, first of all, to call Christians. Number one, Christians of Connecticut, why are you not part of the Connecticut Foundation to Abolish Abortion? Pastors of Connecticut, why are you not part of the Connecticut Foundation to Abolish Abortion? What pitiful excuse can you possibly have, Christian of Connecticut, to not be part of this? And I'll say, in case any Connecticut Christians watch this, invite me to your church. I will speak. I have 38 years of pastoral experience. I have if this is what you're into, I have a Master's of Divinity degree from Asbury Theological Seminary. My undergraduate is a degree in philosophy from Central Connecticut State University. I have been ordained in the United Methodist Church, I'm ashamed to say. I have been ordained in a Presbyterian, micro-Presbyterian, the Covenant Presbyterian Church. I have pastored many, many different churches, been in ministry in different forms throughout the years, have preached who knows how many sermons in my life. So I'll come and give a good biblical, exegetical sermon on the topic of child sacrifice, then and now. And I will challenge your pastor and your congregation to stand up for the unborn somewhere. I mean, somehow. How many churches don't have anything to do with saying anything? Saying anything. How many churches in Connecticut don't on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, Christians and churches on a weekly basis pray for the end of child sacrifice in Connecticut? But you know why? Because people don't. First of all, I think there's a deep denial. No, I'm gonna start with there's just people who don't care. They really don't care. Christians of Connecticut, I call you out. You don't care. You don't care. You know abortion is happening. You know it's happening all over our state. You know it is, but you churches, pastors, you just don't care. Second, I think Christians, pastors, churches, you're in denial. You are in denial. Because if you really, really believed, I mean, all the Holocaust films that are out there, and people watch them and they weep. They weep about all the, the pictures of the bodies of the people that were slain in concentration camps. They don't really have many movies about Stalin and the 60 million people his regime murdered. It's all horrific. The million people that they starved here and there in the Soviet Union. And we'll watch movies, Schindler's List and, I don't even know all the different, there's hundreds of them. And people get all sad and teary-eyed, as they should, of the Holocaust that happened. Not just in Nazi Germany. I mean, it happened in Soviet Russia, Communist China. The average American doesn't even know because we don't know our history. But the average Christian here in Connecticut, pastor, church, is in denial. So watch your Holocaust films and cry for the people that were slaughtered. And I don't have any victim signs. But why aren't you crying for all these little innocent babies that are ripped limb from limb in the womb? Because that's what they do. I mean, that's just one form. People won't watch it. I watch the YouTube videos and actually what's going on when they perform various abortions. One is that they dilate the cervix and they got this clamp that clamps down, and they grab onto something up in there. They pop. Oh, look, a leg. Go back up in there. Pop. Another leg. Oh, let's put it on the tray. So to make sure we got all the limbs. Oh, look at this, an arm. Yeah, let's put it there. Oh, another arm. That feels like a head. Pop goes the head. They put it there, and then they pull out the torso and put it on a little tray. Denial. You know, they talk about Holocaust deniers and how ridiculous that is. What about the Holocaust deniers we have in Connecticut Christian? Pastors, churches. You are Holocaust deniers. Or the woman takes a pill, and the pill poisons her body and poisons the baby. It doesn't kill her, though it does kill a lot more women than they're reporting. But, you know, it cuts off that little baby's lifeline. And then they flush it. It expels, the woman expels it out of her body, and for the most part flushes it down the toilet. Connecticut Christian, Connecticut pastor, Connecticut church, deniers, Holocaust deniers. There's many of you that don't care, and there's many of you that are in actual denial. I was in denial for many years, so I'm just as guilty. I mean, I stand here guilty. I didn't care for how many years I could have been doing stuff. I didn't care, and I denied it. I remember way back when I was a teenager, back at the Bakerville United Methodist Church, they played, wow, we're going back now. They played the movie Silent Scream, and I didn't watch it because I said, I'm already convinced of how wicked it is. But I wasn't convinced because I should have watched it, and I should have been moved right from being a teenager and dedicated my life to the saving of babies. Then okay, so we got the I don't care pastors, Christians, churches. We got the deniers, pastors, Christians, churches. Then we got it's a political issue. I think that this is the worst of all. It's a political issue, so we're not going to do anything. We're going to have our church meetings. We're going to have our prayer meetings. We're going to have our church picnics. We're going to have our church potluck suppers. We're going to have our worship services on Sunday morning. We're going to preach the Word of God exegetically. And we're not going to do a dang thing about the reality of child sacrifice in the United States of America, in the state of Connecticut. And, you know, I honestly, I think that's the worst of all. Pastors, I know pastors. Oh, it's political. No, it is godless. It's an abomination. It is a breaking of God's moral law. I know a Reformed church right there in Winchester, Trinity Reformed Church. He won't get involved, and he won't get his congregation involved because it's a political issue, so he says. And at that point, he lost all my respect. absolutely all my respect. And then there's churches, well, I don't know of any churches in Connecticut. There's not a church I know of in Connecticut that are doing anything, any abolition work or anything like that. I tell you what, I know of several men and women who will lay down their lives in a second. They're part of the Connecticut Foundation to Abolish Abortion. They will lay down their lives in a second to save an unborn child. They'll give up a Saturday, they'll give up a day of work, they'll give up as much time as they can in order to stand for little innocent babies. People that put their faith into the streets, put their faith, their beliefs, their convictions to work. A lot of them, you know, they're struggling because they're part of churches that don't do a dang thing. So they don't really know what to do. Some of them are actually trying to do something in the church that they're at. I know one gentleman is trying to get his pastor on board. Another one is trying to get his pastor on board. And, you know, a lot's riding on that for them. Because sadly, I think unless there's a real change of heart, they're going to find that the average evangelical 501c3 corporation church ain't interested. You know, it's very much like the politicians. You know, Lisa Seminara, she won't come out. She says, "Oh, I'm pro-life in personally, but I'm not politically," because she thinks that her constituents are a majority of child sacrificers. She doesn't even know. She won't stand for the unborn because she's afraid of losing votes. She's afraid of losing her seat. She's afraid of losing power. That's why. She will not stand for the unborn. She'll be politically schizophrenic. She's schizophrenic as an individual, not mentally like she's schizo, but she's schizo in that personally she's against child sacrifice. She's not. But politically she is not going to do anything about it. Well, that's like such hypocrisy. I won't even talk. I've already talked about Paul Honing. He's a wicked, nasty man. He's all for child sacrifice. I give my opinion. You don't have a uterus. Paul Honing gives his opinion. Welcome to the team. He's just, you know, his views are pure evil, pure wickedness. So, pastors, Christians, churches of Connecticut, why are you not part of the concerted effort to end child sacrifice in Connecticut? I don't get it. Honestly, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Let's see if they call the police on me. It's like such a petty thing to call the police. See, they go by, babies are murdered here. They go by and they say, huh. And then they try to look past me and wonder why I'm standing in this particular spot. Well, I'm standing in this particular spot because in this particular spot, babies are murdered. Who knows if they do surgical? I honestly don't know. Doesn't matter. I mean, death is death. Well, you know, well, they only hand out, you know, poison pills, but, you know, they don't do surgical abortions. Somehow, like, that makes it better. A little chilly today. Yeah, people look. I mean, they turn their heads. How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The Planned Parenthoods, man, they get so much government money. What here in Connecticut, I think it was $3 million of COVID money. I think it was, I'm pretty sure, here in Connecticut, there was COVID money, and so this huge, you know, whatever it was, stealing from the American taxpayers. And then here we are in Connecticut, and our legislators gave $3 million to Planned Parenthood here in Connecticut. I wonder how many Planned Parenthoods are there? There's probably 6 or 7. So divide up 3 million by 7 and you have yourself a lot of money. Maybe they're slowing down as they go by. Wonder if I'm the first here in Enfield. I hope not. Probably not. But maybe. I thought I was going to be one of the first up in Springfield, and I got a video on it. Went up there and there was this old man, I think he was 84 years old. Standing there, and he has been standing there for, I don't know, what was it, 10 years? I'd have to look at my notes or watch the video again. See, part of the problem is, you know, to come in front of a Planned Parenthood is one thing. But they have, if I remember right, they're distributing poison child sacrifice pills at the college level indiscriminately. Women are mail ordering abortion pills, the RU-486 type pills. Sometimes you pay for it, sometimes they get it for free. So, you know, Planned Parenthood, excuse me, is a symbol of the wickedness of our nation. But the wickedness has just gone all over the place. Shut down Planned Parenthood, you're not going to shut down child sacrifice until you make it illegal. Until it becomes a criminal act. I was telling Kelly as we were driving up here, I said I'm never excited to come and stand in places like this. By that I mean my heart sinks that I would even have to come up. I'm excited to perhaps save the life of a little innocent baby. That's exciting. That's what motivates me. I guess, am I motivated? Yes. Am I excited? Like, hooray? No. But am I motivated? Yes. And that's part of what it means to be a born-again Christian, is that we lay down our life. We take up our cross and follow Christ. It always makes me feel a little sick that I would have to, that child sacrifice is actually illegal. It makes me sad. Deeply sad. Hey, Josiah.
Hey, Dad. One of my customers from last year just contacted me about a package that got delivered to the wrong house.
Oh, wonderful. Really? For what town?
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, a guy, Gary Fritz, sent me a package of Yellow Jackets, and the freaking FedEx messed it up. But boy, this is an answer to prayer. This is wonderful. Okay, great. Oh, okay. So yes, that's so. Oh, cool. All right, that sounds great. Yeah, if you hear anything, let me know. All right, thanks, son. Bye-bye. I'll probably splice that out. Yeah, I will, for sure. We could put babies are murdered here in many different places here in Connecticut. I mean, imagine if with all the signs people have, the Black Lives Matter, the rainbow flags, there's no hate here, we support this war, we support that war. I wonder how many signs would be out in front of houses here in Connecticut. Oh, thousands and thousands and thousands. I won't look it up right at the moment, but there are thousands and thousands and thousands of babies that have been sacrificed. My goal is to try to do something every day to disrupt the workings of the world, the flesh, and the devil when it comes to child sacrifice. Every day. First of all, praying. And we really all need to spend a lot more time in prayer, concerted prayer, unified prayer, spirit-led, spirit-filled prayer, if we're going to abolish, if and when we're going to abolish child sacrifice in Connecticut. We need to continue to pray. So, I try to pray on a daily basis for the abolition of abortion. That's the most important, asking God's help. But then I try to, be strategic, wise as serpents and as innocent as doves. So I try to do things that are wise. Strategic. That's why I go to the state capitol a lot. I mean, it's a great thing to go out in front of these murder mills. No question about it. But I think it's important to go right into the heart of the beast, because it's become a beast. It's a beast that feeds off of the blood and bodies of little innocent babies. How many candidates this year, one of their main pillars, foundations, whatever, is here we are in 1984. If you ever read 1984, George Orwell's 1984, if you haven't read it, read it, listen to it on audiobooks. Doublespeak. Doublespeak is where you say the very opposite of what is happening. So reproductive rights is straight out of George Orwell. Reproductive rights. Now, let's think about how that's doublespeak. So what it says is that it keeps a person having the right for reproduction, or whether you don't want to have reproduction. And that right for reproduction or not reproduction should be in the hands of the individual, particularly the woman. So we're talking about reproductive rights, but what does it really mean? Reproductive rights really actually mean child sacrifice. Reproductive rights means the legal right of a woman to murder her own child inside of her womb with no legal consequences. So there's nothing reproductive about it, because it's only really about death. It's not like, oh, I'm going to exercise my reproductive health, my reproductive rights by keeping this child, by protecting this child. No, a woman is only exercising her reproductive rights when she has the legal protection under the law to murder her own child. That's why it's doublespeak. Because really, reproductive rights are the legal right to take the life of an innocent human being. With no consequences, it's not criminalized, it's okay, everything's fine. And so we kill off our own offspring. There it is, it's reproductive rights. It's George Orwell, 1984, brainwashed. Brainwashed. Just try to reason with somebody that has been brainwashed by CNN, brainwashed in the university, brainwashed by the media, brainwashed by the university, brainwashed by public school. My body, my choice. Oh, it's like a parrot. My body, my choice. You don't have a uterus. You have no opinion. What is that one? Abortion is health care. I'm trying to be a parrot. Piece of eight, piece of eight, pieces of babies, pieces of babies. Well, I'm standing witness to probably over 1,000 people easily. I haven't been counting cars. It's interesting too that something rises up inside of a person to, you know, when you stand, both negative and positive, the negative rising up, they see a sign, babies are murdered here, and they feel intimidated, they feel challenged, they feel not validated, they feel angry, they feel that they must express themselves by using a gesture that has come to mean, you know, F you, which I suppose is supposedly one of the most terrible insults in the human language. Swearing is a very interesting phenomenon. That something rises up within them to have to beep their horn in disapproval. But, you know, this is partly, you know, not just the emperor has no clothes. That's not a good analogy, because the emperor is covered in blood. The emperor is feasting on the blood of innocent little babies. Yeah, feasting on them. The emperor has clothes, and he's clothed in the dead bodies of little innocent babies, clothed in the blood of all those little innocent babies. I'm thinking of a book. I think it's by Henry Hazlitt. Oh, what's the name of it? Economics in One Lesson. If I'm remembering right, and I might be wrong, Henry Hazlitt. God bless you, sir. A man had to flash the bird. Henry Hazlitt, I believe. Wasn't he the Nobel Prize winner in economics? I think he was an Austrian economist. And it's something like that. Economics in 8 Easy Lessons or something like that. And one of the lessons that he talked about was how many times people look at the short-term effects of a governmental policy and see how good that is without looking at the long-term effects. For instance, you know, the government takes away people's taxpayers' money, and you know, the government has no incentive to improve their goods and services like the free market does, like regular businessmen, so they can botch everything that they want. And so what the government will do is throw money at building bridges, whether you need them or not. But look at all the jobs that were created by building bridges or cutting down forests or whatever. Not a free market thing, just creating jobs as if that can be created. And so what they see as the short-term effect is that, you know, people got jobs. But what they don't see is the long-term effect of all the refrigerators that were not purchased, all the cars that were not purchased, all the goods that were not purchased, all the services that were not purchased, because the tax money was taken from people by force or the threat of force through taxes. And the government will say, look at the jobs that we have created, look at the short-term effect, but they don't see the long-term effect of how taxation just continually, it's like a cancer that destroys society, and as government distributes the money, not smart and efficient like the free market will. Free market's brutal. If you don't have good services and good products, well, you know what, your business is going under, as it should. But the government can keep going and going, but they can look at the jobs and the bridges and the jobs that were created supposedly by their quick thing, but they don't see the long-term effects of that. Well, it's the same thing with abortion. People can see what they consider to be a short-term benefit of murdering their own child. That short-term benefit is, oh, I could continue on going to school, and I don't have to be embarrassed, and I don't have to worry about the money, and I don't have to worry about feeding my other 3 children. We'll sacrifice this child. But they don't see the long-term effects, and the long-term effects are devastating. The long-term effects, well, first of all, God's curse, God's judgment on a nation that does such a thing. It's a wicked, terrible thing. And then God must judge because of how wicked it is. I think Kelly's on her way. Okay, Kelly's on her way, so I gotta close up. So just to make a long story short, they want short-term benefits, but they end up killing themselves in the long term. And that's what's happening with us. Amen. To God be the glory.